Hi, I'm Andrew with NVIDIA and you're watching GeForce Garage. On the last episode, Rod helped us cut a really nice factory-looking window into our side panel so we could see the amazing components inside. And now, we got a special guest, Brian White from United We Mod.
How you doing, Andrew?
Very well, Brian. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So, what exactly we're going to do today?
We're going to make some modifications to the interior of the chassis. To accept the future mods we're going to do, we're going to do some water cooling and basically make the interior look a lot cleaner.
Okay, so the case wasn't necessarily designed for these mods, so we're going to do some stuff to make it a little prettier as well as actually fit all the extra components we're putting in.
Absolutely correct.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get working.
Let's get cracking. Today we are going to be installing a motherboard skirt. Some of the things that we're going to be utilizing for tools will be, of course, some safety gear, which is goggles and a mask, steel plate. This is 16 gauge or 18 gauge you can get from any hardware store. C-clamps, permanent marker, a small tape measure, a square so we can get some perfectly rectangular cuts. My Dremel with the snake attachments, various files, screwdriver, a deburring tool, pop rivet gun, as well as a cordless drill. In most cases, you would use aluminum, because it's a lot easier to work with and it's actually a lot lighter. However, I'm a steel kind of guy, and for that, I like to use these. As you can see, we already have removed both front and rear side panels, as well as the 5 1/4 drive bays, and we are going to prep the interior for installation of a motherboard skirt. We have two 24-pin grommet holes in the motherboard tray. However, on the Antec 900, you can't really fit a 24-pin behind the motherboard tray. So the motherboard skirt is going to cover up both of these holes all the way down the side of the chassis. And the first thing we're going to need to do is take measurements, as well as cut out these two attachments for your wire management, because we're not going to need those and we need it to lay flat there. We're going to go ahead and take our first measurement, which is going to be the length of the motherboard skirt. So I'll measure from the bottom of the chassis up to the top fold of the motherboard tray. We're at 15 3/8. And we want to measure the width of the motherboard skirt, and it's actually going to slip behind the 5 1/4 bay about 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just add that to my measurement. Take it out right to the standoffs, basically, will be our mark that we're going to measure. So we're going to do a 2 3/8 by 15 3/8 cut. And once we have our piece of steel stock cut for the motherboard skirt, I would recommend taking a regular file and cleaning up your edges before you install it in your case. Okay, for the next step, what we're going to do is cut off the two wire management tabs. We're not going to be able to put a flat piece of steel here unless we go ahead and trim these out of the motherboard tray. And we'll do so with the cutoff wheel and the Dremel. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and drill some holes in your motherboard skirt. Look at the inside of the chassis here and where the standoffs are. In this instance, I put each hole in between where the standoffs are on the motherboard tray. I'm going to secure it with 3 pop rivets. Now that we have our motherboard skirt cut out, holes drilled in it, and it's also filed down and deburred around the edges, we're going to install it in the case, and we're actually going to utilize this as a template to drill the holes in the motherboard tray, which will secure the motherboard skirt inside of the chassis upon completion. So we're going to use the same drill and the same drill bit, and just simply drill through the motherboard tray. It's going to be a lot easier than going through that steel though. With our deburring tool. Next, we're going to go ahead and install the motherboard skirt in the Antec 900. We're going to be using a pop rivet gun. I like to use the kind that has the actual swivel head, so it can fit in a variety of different shapes and sizes. Of course, because we use different chassis all the time. Also, the reason for the tape being right here is because sometimes I'm pop riveting inside of cases that have been painted already, just in case we slip. We don't want to scratch somebody's paint job. There we have it. The motherboard skirt's installed in the chassis, and we're done. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, looking great. So tell us exactly what you did here with this case, Brian.
Basically manufactured a motherboard skirt. As you can see in there, you can't see the 24-pin holes anymore inside of the chassis.
Nice, because we're not going to use those for this particular setup.
No, because there's not really enough room to route it actually behind the motherboard tray in this particular case, so we covered it up to give it a little more sleek look.
Nice, and that also kind of keeps it all unibody with the saber-tooth motherboard, and perfectly encases it for the window that we cut last episode, so I really like the work you did.
Thanks, appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks
Can't
for
wait
coming
to
on the
see it.
show. So on the next episode, we're gonna do some really simple and affordable painting techniques to keep this theme consistent and spruce it up a little bit farther. Don't forget to check out GeForce.com for a detailed written guide on everything we do on the show. You're watching GeForce Garage, the ultimate resource center for designing, building, and customizing your GeForce GTX PC. If you enjoyed that video and you're looking for more videos, click right here or click right here. We got tons of stuff for you guys over at geforce.com/garage. No, seriously. Really. I promise.